the game, you are immediately introduced to Hiro as being a mediator of sorts. He's set to be this more mature person of the group who more or less is in charge of them as a whole. He's cool, calm, and collected, and it's clear from the start that Sunny looks up to him. He's got good grades, has awards in almost every corner of his room, and is expected to be smart. So he clearly has it the best out of the characters, right? Considering Kel's neglect and Aubrey's whole situation. And we're not even gonna start on Sunny and Basil. He clearly is the best off out of them. No competition, right? Well, that's not true. Not in the slightest. Let's take a moment to think his character through, yes? Hiro's room is covered in rewards. To the brim, in fact. So much so that it's almost questionable in a sense. Wait, what's wrong with awards? The awards themselves aren't a problem. It's the fact that there are so many of them and that they're on display. I want you to think for a second. Why do people care about awards? Well, they signify a deed that has been done in a phenomenal manner. It's proof that you've done something good. Now, as mentioned previously, Hiro has good grades and is a natural at everything he does. So why is it a problem? It's the fact that that sets expectations on them. Expectations for him to be good at everything all the time and to be a role model. Constantly. Any hiccup wouldn't be acceptable, and that would cause disappointment in others. That's why I think he displays all of his awards. He wants to remind himself that he has done good, and that he is good enough. He wants proof that he's worth something. He's a people pleaser, and finds it hard to say no to others, whether it's good for his health or not. It's mentioned early on that Hiro, at least at some point, had an interest in cooking and baking, and enjoyed doing so immensely, especially when Marie complimented him on it. In fact, it's even what his skill relates to in the Headspace version of him. But when we meet him in the real world, we learn that he's going to school to be a doctor. Why would he do that? The game tried to make it very, very clear that he enjoyed cooking, and that it was at least a possible career for him. So why would he be a doctor? Well, good grades often come with the idea of being able to be a doctor. And since the ability is there, it has to be done. It's sad because a lot of the time, it's the parents pushing this onto their child, which is exactly what happened to Hiro. He wanted to keep them happy, so he chose being a doctor and being the perfect child over his actual interests. And there's a segue here. I want you to take a second and digest something I said earlier. Marie said that she enjoyed Hiro's cooking. That's partially why he started cooking in the first place. I believe that that is a big reason he chose being a doctor over cooking. It's because cooking brings him back to those times. It reminds him of Marie. That's why he runs away from it, because every time he cooks, he can't get her out of his head, and it gets to the point where he can't handle it anymore. It's just easier to suppress it. Hiro is trapped. He's trapped in the idea of perfectionism, trapped in the expectations of others, trapped in being a doctor. He's trapped in Marie's shadow. Now, I'm going to be talking about some pretty big spoilers here, so if you haven't played or watched someone play Omori, please, please, please do not watch unless you don't mind being spoiled. I'm also going to be bringing up some pretty heavy topics, so viewer discretion is advised. Marie was the love of Hiro's life. They were in a relationship together, and she meant the world to him. More or less, the two acted like parents towards the others in the group as well. She was his everything. To learn that she had believably hung herself, that struck him. He lost all interest in everything he had been doing. He closed himself off from both activities and his loved ones at least for a year. Can you imagine that? Your loved one deciding to take their own life? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? You loved them. You loved them. How could they? Was it something you did? Were you not there enough for them? Why? Why would they do that? He stewed with his own thoughts for a year, which I can't even imagine the emotions and trauma he had to go through throughout that time. When Kel tried to talk to him about it, Hiro lost it, and he lashed out at Kel. He took out his anger, his frustration, and his confusion on his brother because he didn't know what else to do with it. It was all too much for him. So he distanced himself. If he's more reserved, he can't hurt others. And maybe if he is more reserved, it will numb the pain. Numb the pain. He has to be the adult. He has to be the mature one. It's what everyone expects of him. He can't show his true emotions, otherwise he feels as if he's pushing them onto others. He has to be what others think he is. That's where he needs to change. He needs to realize that he's worth more than his grades, his charm, and his maturity. When in these sorts of situations, people tend to forget that there is no such thing as a perfect person. There will always be flaws and exceptions. You don't have to be perfect. You are more than what others expect from you. You are you. And that's all you need to be. So please, give yourself a break. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after this video, but there's gonna be a video between this one and I think I'm gonna do Aubrey next, so keep an eye out for that, and I hope you guys all have a nice night. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.